Good morning, everybody. Lee Brower here, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I am grateful to be here, and I am glad to be here. I'm standing here in front of one of my favorite art pieces because that really shows enthusiasm. And I'm enthusiastic about my message that I get to share with you today. You know, I'm going to talk to you about the letter E. And let me tell you where I first heard of that. I have the opportunity to work with some of the most amazing families and family leaders on the entire planet. Leaders that continue to teach me every day, even as recently as last week. But let's go back to one of the very first families that I got to work with. I received a phone call. It was from a very successful businessman that had called me up, wanted to know if I was interested in buying a horse barn. Well, and I really wasn't interested in a horse barn. And as we talked about it, he said, I may be interested in selling my business as well. And I said, why would you be interested in selling your business? And he said, well, because we're making enough money now, not tremendous amount, but enough that I worry about as we continue to grow, that this money's going to ruin my kids. And I said, well, maybe we should talk. And as we got to know each other and got to learn from each other, and what an amazing family he had, fast forward to today, he's 10 times as big as he was back then. He's internationally known. And his children and his sons-in-laws and daughters-in-law, they're all involved in the business, and it's extremely successful. And in fact, he and his wife, to take a 3-year sabbatical to go out and do charitable work, religious work for their church. And after he came back, he was asked the question, what do you attribute your success to? And he said, well, a number of key things, but let me say one thing in particular. I attribute it to the letter E. The letter E, somebody asked. He says, yes, the letter E. He says, when I was young, my dad worked out of our garage, and it was way in the back of our house. And he did welding. And my job was to take the trash out to the street. I'd take the trash out from the house and the trash out from the business and take it out to the street. And I had a bunch of my friends over. He said I was a teenager, had a bunch of my friends over, and I was a basketball junkie. And they all were anxious to get down to the gym to go play basketball. And I yelled back at him, I can't go now, I gotta take out the trash. And his mother said, Steve, change that O to an E. And he said, I get to take out the trash? And she said, that's right, young man, you get to take out the trash. You get to go out and gather up all of that trash and take it out to the street where a brand new truck will come along, pick it up, and take it out and bury it or burn it someplace far away from us where we don't have to deal with it again. There are millions of people in this world that would trade places with you in a heartbeat, that don't have to walk on their trash every day, that has a truck come in and pick it up and take it away. Young man, you get to take out the trash. And every time you say, I got to do something, you change that O to an E. Now that changed Steve's life. And that message has impacted me. I've shared it with a few of you, and I've gotten reports back on the difference that it's made for you. And you know, it's not only when we say, I got to do something, it's when we say, I need to, I have to. And in our minds, what we're doing is putting something in our backpack. It sounds like a load. So when we say, I have to do something, or I got to do something, or I need to do something, what we're doing is putting more into that backpack of life that says it wears us down. It does not lift us up. We move into scarcity. Shortly after that, I was parked on the freeway because of an accident up ahead. And where I'd normally get a little bit upset and try to figure out my way around it, I stopped for a second and I said, wait a second. I don't got to be on this freeway. I get to be on this freeway. And there's millions of people around the world that would trade places with me right now to sit in this car at this time, in this traffic jam, to go to where I get to go to work and have the job that I get to do. You know, we live in a world of our choice. We live in a world of abundance, or we live in a world of scarcity. And when that's driven by gratitude, by being into the get mindset, we move into gratitude. And that's so much easier to work and so much easier to get things done, and we feel better. When we move into that got to, then we're moving into the scarcity or the ungrateful attitude. So my challenge for all of us this week is change that O to an E. Share this. Share it with your children. Share it with your coworkers. Let's all develop a campaign of changing that O to an E. I know we'll be happier, I know we'll be more productive, and we will attract greater opportunities and relationships into our lives. Have a meaningful week this week. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.